Welcome to Silicon Scoop, where we dive into the latest tech news impacting the world. Join John Irwin and the Startup Coach as they explore the tech news that matters to you. Stay ahead, stay informed, and now on with the show.
Anthropic just fired the first shot in the $3 trillion public AI war by secretly filing for a massive $965 billion IPO. They aren't selling a better chatbot to consumers. They're pitching Wall Street on an AI cyber weapon that just leaped ahead of OpenAI. So they just filed a $1 trillion AI IPO, $45 million short or $1 billion short, which will probably go up over time. Anthropic has confidentially filed a draft Form S-1 with the SEC to go public, fresh off a $65 billion funding round. Instead of relying on consumer apps, the company is anchoring its staggering $965 billion valuation on Claude Mythos, an advanced AI model capable of autonomously uncovering deep software vulnerabilities. This completely flips the AI script from viral productivity apps to nation-state grade digital infrastructure, forcing OpenAI and other companies to accelerate its own public market plans. What do you think about this, John?
I love it. You know me, I've always been a fan of Anthropic and Claude, even before it was cool. And I'm so happy for them. I think that they're doing things right. So just a couple of things. So we don't know who the underwriters are of this, but obviously I think they probably reached out to like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, like all the big names. And this is going to be interesting because it looks like they're going IPO or they're going public in the fall, early fall at the earliest. And so they're going public after SpaceX goes public, which has X API. Now, obviously, SpaceX's IPO is not indicative of what's going to happen to Anthropic, but there's AI built into that, and that's a huge proponent. So what are your thoughts on kind of the SpaceX IPO being a precursor to Anthropic's IPO? Do you think there's a correlation there or not at all?
Well, I mean, we're coming into IPO season and it's starting to get hot where it got cold for a long time. I think there is a correlation because what we're going to see is a huge valuation with X and they're going to come in at the other end of it. The question I have when I say X, SpaceX and the big IPO that includes all of stuff that Elon's doing with SpaceX and XAI, and they're going to roll Tesla in there. It's eventually, if they haven't done that already. The question becomes, if that's $1 trillion company, what is Anthropic worth? And I sit back and say, okay, is Anthropic worth this because of the one product Mythos? I wonder, because how long till the code, it's leaked already, how long till one of the other companies just basically copy it?
I don't think this IPO is based on products and revenue largely. I think this IPO is more based on the future of AI, the possibility of AGI, the control of AI infrastructure, access to compute, and the future of knowledge work. So I know I'm generalizing it a little bit, but I think it's when companies go IPO, like for example, Meta or Google, investors largely bet on products and revenue. Whereas, yes, Anthropic does have revenue, but I think this is more of a looking forward at the future. And Anthropic has set itself up with strategic partnerships, with their structure and all that sort of stuff from the get-go, and doing things right with each round of funding, right? They just raised a round of funding. Like what? A month ago, they just closed our valuation, 900 million?
Yeah.
900 billion? I can't remember. Anyways.
It was 65 billion at an estimated value of 965.
Yeah. And so there's a lot going on here. And so
there's a lot going on, but I let me ask you this. And
yeah.
when is everyone going to admit we're kind of in a bubble? Like 965, their latest round exceeds OpenAI's 850 billion valuation. Now they're doing an IPO. OpenAI is talking about that potentially as well, and SpaceX is doing it. They're all going to leapfrog each other. They're all going to say, okay, well, Anthropic is now worth $1 trillion, so we think we're worth $1.4 trillion. And so that'll bump. And then the next so it becomes how much of this is real? And how much is Silicon Valley VC bumping each other?
So I think out of all of these AI, I think Anthropic might be the most real given their contracts and things like that, even though they got blacklisted, but now the government's back. I think, and going back to your point about Mythos, I think this is less, we'll call it vaporware, or less kind of trying to pull the cover over our eyes. And I think this is more real than most. But that being said, there is still that circular type of money that's going around. But again, going public, that will allow more money to be injected into this company. That's not part of that circular kind of where the circular money that's going around, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and let's be clear. The reason why everyone's pointing at Mythos is because Series H 65 billion raise in May was based on the hot Mythos news. So everyone thought this was good. At investor level was investing because Mythos was hot, and this is going around, and now we're going IPO. The latest valuation is based on, how hot Mythos was. That's all. So whether, we're doing that alone is worth a certain amount, because all enterprise need to have that or an equivalent product, or they're going to get dominated by, foreign competitors, even other bad actors. How many times we've seen malware, Bitcoin stuff where it takes control of your computer and locks everything out. As soon as this kind of tool is out there, that kind of stuff will be happening all the time. So I guess there's a concern. However, Anthropic seems to be moving in the right direction. Are they a $1 billion company? Are they not a $1 billion company? $1 trillion company? Time will tell. So SpaceX is targeting a $2 trillion valuation and seeking to raise more than $75 billion. OpenAI is expected to file for its own initial public offering soon, and Anthropic is now part of this race with a valuation approaching $1 trillion. They also note these listings could push major indices like the NASDAQ 100 toward even greater concentration in capital-intensive AI issuers, which, I'm a little concerned for the NASDAQ, but that's a separate discussion.
I think SpaceX is more of a concern for the for whatever index they're going on than Anthropic is. I think SpaceX is more vaporware and more BS than Anthropic, but that's just me.
Well, I guess if you want to have that discussion, love that, but let's keep that separate. And I just want to say that there is vaporware in SpaceX, but there's also some vaporware in Anthropic. You're right, it's less than Anthropic, but I also think there's a lot of SpaceX around robots, around a bunch of other stuff that is, but you can't deny what they're doing with rockets. You can't deny what they're doing with some of these other things. So the question is, how much of that $2 trillion valuation is based on vaporware? 25%, 50%? I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's no different than what OpenAI and all these other companies are pushing, a future vision of the product that's going to look like X, Y, and Z.
So I think it's different because, and this is just me, and this just could be how this company has done it, but they've been more transparent. They've stood their ground when it comes to a lot of things. I feel like I would give them way more benefit of the doubt than any other AI company out there.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not giving anybody the benefit of the doubt, or I'm not saying pointing fingers at anyone else. We all know Elon is a massive hype man, and that's his, if nothing else, one of his specialties is promotion, marketing, and government contracts. So all that aside, having a hardware company, having rockets, having this technology and these government contracts related to SpaceLink and Starshield, Starlink, and all that stuff, how does that compare? We're talking about value from a company point of view. And let's face it, Anthropic is also paying X billions of dollars a month to run on their hardware. So it's a very incestuous relationship all around. I get that we hear a lot of BS from Elon Musk more than most people because he's out and loud and proud. But that doesn't mean the announcements from other people have less, I'm going to say, are less conservative in their financial projections of what their future is going to be.
For sure. Yeah.
So
that Anthropic has gone about this there's very little controversy surrounding them, except with the government, but that wasn't their fault. That was the government's at least from what we know.
Before we move away from that point, you do know Anthropic had two rules: no domestic surveillance.
Yeah.
And no automatic firing of weapons.
Yeah.
And the U.S. government, when they came at them, said, let me give you a scenario. And the scenario was, there's an ICBM flying at New York. Can I use your software to shoot it down or not? And the answer from Anthropic was, well, you need to call us and we'll work it out. And that was unacceptable. And that's where all the trouble began.
No, but what I'm saying is it wasn't Anthropic. It wasn't controversy from Anthropic being disingenuous. It was from the government trying to get Anthropic to do things that they weren't comfortable doing, and they stood their ground.
I'm not on either side of the fence on this one.
Okay.
I'm saying this is what happened. The government wants something that's going to shoot down that ICBM missile without having to call somebody and wait on hold and hopefully get a hold of somebody before New York blows up. That doesn't mean they can't use Anthropic in any other part of the system, or they shouldn't have called it a security threat or whatever. I can't remember what the exact title was. Doesn't mean they should have done that. I'm just saying that I want our governments to be able to defend, but where does this slope stop? I'm not saying Anthropic is wrong. I'm not saying Anthropic is right. I'm just saying this is what happened and that causing this conflict.
Yeah.
I'm okay with both sides having their stance because I think Anthropic is drawing their line, and as a company, they can draw the line. And as a government, they can decide not to use them. I think the lawsuits in between are going to work themselves out about should they have affected policy or not. So we'll let that kind of work itself out. So Anthropic's revenue run rate exploded from $9 billion to $47 billion in mere months on the Cyber Gym vulnerability reproduction benchmark. Claude Mythos scored 83.1% compared to Claude Opus 4.6 at 6.6%, autonomously generating working exploits on its first attempt in more than 83% of test cases. During the early red teaming, Mythos exposed critical security flaws that survived decades of human inspection, including a 16-year-old bug found in FFmpeg and a 27-year-old vulnerability in security-focused open BSD operating systems. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Anthropic dramatically increases political footprint ahead of the listing, spending $1.6 million lobbying in Q1 2026 alone, a massive jump from $360,000 the previous year, largely due to a high-profile legal battle with the Pentagon over the supply chain blacklisting we just talked about. So Anthropic isn't just trying to be ChatGPT. They're trying to become an indispensable backbone of global cybersecurity as well as business infrastructure before the public even gets a chance to trade a single share. So with Anthropic valued higher than OpenAI, would you risk your own cash on this $1 trillion IPO when it goes public, or is this hype leaving individual investors too little on the upside? So let us know in the chat. John, would you invest?
Absolutely.
Tired of drowning in repetitive tasks while your competitors race ahead? Every minute you spend on manual data entry, scheduling, and routine processes is a minute you're not growing your business. Flowgrammer.ca transforms your workflow chaos into seamless automation. We build AI-powered systems that handle your busy work so you can focus on what actually makes you money. Our clients typically save 15 plus hours per week and see their productivity double within 60 days. Visit flowgrammer.ca for a free automation audit. That's flowgrammer.ca. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
What do you got going on, John?
Just plugging away, helping companies with government funding, attending events, probably startup drinks or Flowgrammer events. How about you, Craig?
Lots of stuff going on. I honestly don't know when this is going out. I have to check. I think it's going to go out in April. But there's all sorts of stuff going on. If you don't know about OpenClaw, it's the latest AI automation agent that's taken the world by storm in 2026. And OpenClaw Toronto chapter just launched. And we have all sorts of events going on. So check out openclawto.com. Our first demo night is April 14th. We have a Builder Cafe on April 10th. We have a bunch of other events. There's updates every day. We've deconstructed the latest 2 betas over the weekend that was launched in OpenClaw and what you should do about them. There's a bunch of articles over there. Go check that out. We're also over at flowgrammer.ca where we do N8N automations. We run the Flowgrammer community and do Builders Hub and connectivity for AI and business automation agents. And for everything else, head over to TorontoStarts where we hook up startups and investors at our Startup Investor Drinks. We do mentoring, we do workshops, we have a list of investors. There's a whole bunch of content over. You can also book me over there if you want a meeting with me to talk about whatever, help your startup. Check out TorontoStarts.com. But John, if people are looking for non-dilutive funding, where should they go and what is that?
Yeah, non-dilutive funding. We're talking government grants, tax credits. Come find me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Right now is Shred Time, SRNED. But come reach out to me too if you've got a startup, if you've got a company. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and if they have company questions about their startup in general. Where do they find you, Craig?
Yeah, find me at TorontoStarts.com. But John, just before we go, something's open right now, and it's closing May 31st. Thank you. Can Export. And what?
Yeah. So
what
if
should
you have
people
at
know
least
about that?
300,000 in revenue in the previous year, and you're looking to expand outside of Canada, reach out to me, and we can put together. We can talk about an application for Can Export.
All the links we talked about will be in the show notes wherever you're watching this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Silicon Scoop. We hope you enjoyed this episode's dive into the latest tech news. Stay connected with John Irwin and the Startup Coach on LinkedIn and subscribe for more insights and updates. Until next time, stay ahead, stay informed.